that singing to you? You know what I meant. If I did, I'd be asking for swapping out this from the top. Make out. That was not your cue to start. I'm blaming Kiri for this one. Why? You know why? Not my fault. It showed up on my playlist a million times. And I'll give you a million reasons why it's your fault. A Million Reasons is sung by Mother Monster. Make it make sense. You listen to Gaga? Yumi does. That makes a lot more sense. Go to bed or I expel you all. No!
All right, girls, for practice today, we are competing for the ladder. Whoever...
Hey, Monkey, welcome to class.
Maybe I just still here. I just say I didn't need them again. I didn't read the charts with men on guards. And they're doing hits in the city at large. Even in the attack. Like that's that, Nestor. Helen of protector. Your father killed the brother of Hector. But not in her strength now. With that well of pride. I know where you're going now. Even the tide. Which for will you fight for? Penelope, Penelope, the Lamb of God. Fight for us, fight for us.
How do you find something special when everything looks the same? Check out the Etsy app for original finds made by real people to match your new obsession with patterns. Special songs remain under investigation by the US government, where TikTok can actually be questioned for a lot of serious things. And right now it seems that the application could actually be shut down. Whether you choose to believe whatever is being alleged in the situation, I think there is one thing that we can all put together and collectively agree is that social media, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a little bit dodgy. There are some things on the internet which, honestly, I don't think any human being should have to witness. And one of these things which we shouldn't have to witness is the thing that I've been doing plenty of research on. That is today's topic, the baby totem investigation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to give you a warning before we go into this. Pretty much this situation is going to involve some of the worst possible things that you can possibly imagine. Now, whilst there are a lot of wild accusations in this video which, don't actually have any backing, not coming from yourself, of course, but coming from people in this investigation, I should give you a warning that, yes, we are going to be dealing with some extremely sensitive topics. This particular situation has now led to a massive international online investigation, which pretty much means a bunch of people have gotten their phones out and they've said, look at this thing, isn't this definitely real? I mean, most of it, isn't, but it's TikTok, and with TikTok, it is illegal and other methods. And this has led to funds being donated to people in this investigation and actually flying across continents to confront the involved. Police investigations are now happening, raids have happened, and accusations of the absolute worst possible things are being employed.
Penelope, it's my own, but far away from home. This is never known. I'm really for ya, I'm on my knees for ya. This is the will of the gods.
Throughout today's video, so please don't get mad at me if I say things in weird ways, or blur out words, or blur out pictures. Throughout this video, I am going to be blurring videos surrounding children, because this is a topic surrounding a lot of kids. So please, don't get mad at me. It's just because I want people to actually see this video, because it is indeed a very important video, and a very important topic that I think all people need to know about, simply because of the amount of misinformation being spread on the situation, but also due to the fact that
Look into your eyes, and I look back to the side of mine. You're as old as he was when I left for war. These actions haunt my days. Every man I have slain. The price of pain is pain. Close your eyes. Stare yourself abuse. Just a man who's trying to go home. After all years I've known man all his life, but I'm just a man.
Yes, baby Totu is a child who lives in a shelter in Azerbaijan currently, and recently Totu has gone viral on TikTok on his account right here, which you can see has reached.
Let me become a monster, and as I kind of become the tidal wave, things have become the brain.
It's clear the set up of the
And
content surrounding whenever we see an account on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, whatever the social media platform is, this one goes. Whenever I see
a monster, give me, forgive me.
of why people view this TikTok account,
And just know when
should children really be used as a center point of a TikTok account ran by a parent/guardian, or just in general any adults? And surprise, surprise, I think no, because ladies and gentlemen, I'm a content creator. I love making videos, but the thing I love more than making videos is when you finish those videos, you get views.
600 men at my command. In mine, happy life to a homeland. 600 men. At the distance, the lies in between, because waiting, kingdom is waiting, the love is waiting for me. No speed ahead. Anyone knows the bars to eat. All the resorts completed. 100 men. It's the plan where the nerves fly, lead us to land. Was when you that them in command. Full speed ahead. Nazis, look, there in the distance, I see an island. Your light that faintly glows. There are people lighting a fire. There has some food, who knows? Yeah. Let's make the person. I'll fire when no one's up dead. Know what's ahead till sunrise. And if we don't return, then to make this whole place burn.
Yes, but beside the whole idea of having a TikTok account which showcases around Christian children, it seems like a quite nice subject, isn't it? It seems like a charity which helps out kids who
We're off that way, we know. Yeah. Whoa.
This shelter has a lot of social media presence.
Totu, and that translates in English to take.
The owner of a Baku orphanage where children are tortured is the daughter of a high-ranking.
Seeing all of this,
I'm getting nervous. Do yourself a service. Relax, my friend. I'm fine, apologies. We have been through, despite what we get into. It's the the war and bloodshed. It's how it's supposed to live. There's soul, enough said. We take what we could give. My realization and that you trust them. Been lower your guard. It's so thirsty. They got
Honestly, not looking healthy at all. The hair seemed to be falling out.
arms
Started people started to investigation.
in the place. It's hard as heart. The world's a house arms. Get the world with open arms.
Is actually not even a girl, but it's actually a boy. Being dressed up as a girl in order for the shelter to garner more donations, which apparently will not actually go to the children, but actually go to the back pockets of the people running the TikTok account and running the shelter. I should say that there are obvious and legal reasons if you do not want to deal with a cross-continental lawsuit. These are all allegations, and in fact, I'm working this proving and debunking a lot of things that
Everything okay.
things being said are absolutely lying. None of them
Amazing. You meet it with open arms.
this shelter is a place where, how do we say it in the TOS without getting absolutely
Place. You got up
place
to
where they take children and they sell them for cash price, they sell them for money. That's the allegation. There's a specific word in the screenplay now which they're a little bit sensitive, but this is
the way the seeds.
comes from some, I guess, suspicious alleged negative meaning in certain TikToks. And let me just say this, so using symbolism based on Western media in a story in Azerbaijan, I start to doubt a few things here. First thing is, these people are multinational billionaires who take
To eat.
but it's
Cave. We're saying there's a cave where we could feast. Where we sell the finest food-filled cave.
the symbols which have been used to accuse the shelter of specific horrific actions, you really have to wonder what with these symbols primarily dominating Western culture have anything to do with Azerbaijan. As I showed you on the map earlier, these countries like the United States, where the symbolism kind of is spoken about the most, is very, very far from Azerbaijan. And I really would be confused.
Open arms. Get the world with open arms.
The show's Instagram, regardless of if they're guilty of certain things or not, I think it's pretty clear that there is no association with certain groups out there. I think that this is a group where there could be a lot of dodgy stuff, but let's be real here, people. I think on TikTok, a lot of people like to get
You've had 10 lessons I taught you.
it's still make no difference. Using symbolism is
You
like
were thoughts in.
if these people are criminals or not criminals is absolutely insane. If they're wearing Adidas, is absolutely fine.
Something you.
But it's not wearing Balenciaga, so it's all good. It makes no sense. It's a stupid thing. And you may be wondering, well, why aren't you referring to Balenciaga there? And it's mainly because something I've seen a lot of reasons like people think that these people in this shelter are selling. It's because one of the people in the shelter was caught in a video, I said caught, wearing Balenciaga in a video that they uploaded. Firstly, if they are like doing these illegal practices, why would they say that we present that in their videos if that's what you think they're doing? Obviously, not going to start the book like that. But secondly, it's just stupid for a multitude of reasons that we're going to the amount of part of this video. Just because
One day you'll love me. Created tomorrow.
science about being able to just in general children at the shelter isn't warranted. There are a lot of things out there which are extremely worrying and extremely suspicious. Just suspicious, like
Good as we teach them. It's a problem.
smart concern. But there are also photos and videos out there of children with bruises on their backs. And it obviously seems that yes, there is something weird going on here. Even if there are some, logical answers to this, such as they had these bruises and marks on them when they came into the shelter. The question is well, why are you posting these things? I know people will say, well, it garners money for charity. But when you look at this TikTok account, it's clearly not just a charitable thing. It's clear that TikTok, which
Oh, time to me, what's your name? You first, and maybe I'll do the same. Trying but two can play this game.
That TikToks are the groups that just suddenly get some popularity until they become popular. And then they say, for example, how do you know that? Well, it's obvious they're just looking at the kind of trends that are going on. But also just the fact that of some of the things said in major interviews which we're going to, then that's not
İzleyicilerimiz geldi. Bir gün ben baktım, 45 bin paylaşmak istedim. Bir dönem benim telefonlarım vardı, sürekli. Baksanız belki de bir mesajım.
Yes, videos posted on Instagram and TikTok account, it does seem that the kids in the videos are terrifying in some of them, seem they look uncomfortable, not wanting to be there. So it seems to me that, yeah, this TikTok is understandably absolutely frightening to look at, and instantly at a first glance, it will make you shiver. And of course, at this point of the video, you can't look past the moral dilemma of should you be even posting these videos, there isn't something absolutely illegal going on there. I guess the question should still be asked of, is this actually true, or is it TikTok being, well, just TikTok? Because, ladies and gentlemen, historically on the internet, when something, strange and crazy happens, oh yeah, we go absolutely mental. Take Brian Joyce, for example. People were concerned, people were worried, there were some strange mannerisms and behaviours in the videos. So, they said that Brian Joyce was possibly kidnapped by it's very easy on the internet to get wrapped up in a story and make it seem to be the most insane thing on planet Earth, the most insane thing you've ever heard in your entire life, the most insane thing that could be more insane than the most insane thing that happened last week. On social media, we like to war things, we like to blow things up, and I'm not downplaying what's going on in the situation that we're speaking about today, but what I am saying here is that we need to take a lot of the misinformation and throw it into the garbage. Try not to take any of it seriously, because if we do take it seriously,
My favorite street.
the truth, ladies and gentlemen, is the most important thing. And with allegations of journalists
Gives you to feel pain so deep.
ladies and gentlemen, we gotta be careful. We're only about halfway through this video, but so far you can see that there have been a lot of wild claims and a lot of claims.
Hello. Where you stand. Look, life now is in my hands. Now I'm done. But there's not so fun to take. You came to my home to steal. Now you become my meal. Did you seek from you look for me? A misunderstanding. Never came here to steal. Nice. We'll make a deal. Give you a fine treasure. Long to live a life. And take the world's best tasting wine. Have a drink. When you sip and you'll understand. There's power that's in your hands. Wine so fresh. Do I want to eat new fresh again? Did I draw mine? I did not draw my profile picture. My profile picture is a comic panel from, I think, one of the Batman comics. I don't know what comic it's from. Just know it's from a Batman comic. Your name is Nobody. Nobody. Nobody.
Yeah. And again begs the question of why is there a TikTok account with 200,000 followers where they are
I'm so glad we see eye to eye. You tell me. I don't know what comic it's from. I found it on Pinterest, and I like Jason Todd. I just don't keep up to date with his comics, what comics he's in.
And you can probably tell the wording a little bit weird in these articles, and that is because, everyone has a version of media.
Thank you.
Translates obviously some things here and
My
there.
brothers, the rest of our street, head at the beach. If you're defeated, they're good instead. They're ahead, that is who we're fighting. Back up, No chance for support, not resort. There must be supported right here and now. Show me how great is your will to survive. 100 lives at stake, just one life to take. No. The light, right. Alright. Have a good day or night, whatever time zone it is for you.
Has been speaking about the treatment of kids in these types of shelters. And with everything here, it obviously paints an extremely suspicious picture to what is actually going on. But there are some things which to me personally don't.
It's okay.
Number one being, as you can see from the TikTok account, the shelter is
Learn, fight for your life.
this TikTok account
There's 100 lives at stake. Just one life to take. You can their journey's over. You're tying on us now. Be is not allowed.
really doesn't make much sense to me. But obviously, this is one of the biggest parts of why some people are worried about people in this shelter and worried about this TikTok page. It's concerning for obvious reasons, but the facts don't make much sense. And I'm not denying these things, but obviously there is some suspicious stuff there. Because yes, apparently the kids were removed during the raid, but now you can see on the TikTok they're back. So the only question you can ask, I mean, was the investigation a failure? Did the kids have no actual issues? What's going on? And despite all of that, we really have to ask the question, if all of these theories were actually true, if there was like some international level crime lord situation going on, what is
Enough.
in this
There's
situation?
100 lives at stake. 100 lives a break. You may not give in, my pain is over. You're dying here and now. Sleep is not allowed. Nothing through this day, I'll die. Die.
Create as less amount of noise as possible. But then TikTok and Instagram say the complete opposite to that. But as I said, some of the people in the shelter have been speaking up. They've been saying, you know what, we didn't do this. Obviously, I mean, they would. They don't put their hands up, as I said earlier. Just go, oh yeah, we did the crime. I mean, it wouldn't really make much sense to do that. But also, we will be going into an interview later in this video where one of the heads, if not the main head at the shelter, discussed this raid and said that yes, there was a raid, but pretty much everything was absolutely fine. Things had gone on with the police, and it seemed that there were no issues. And to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, that does kind of compete with pretty much everything we looked at, because as I said, why would they be allowed to run a TikTok account with 200,000 followers if they were doing the things that they have been accused of in these media articles? But then you have to ask the question of why were these allegations even put out there in the first place? Why were people worried? Why are people on TikTok so absolutely up in arms right now about their utility and about the shelter? I'll keep saying it, but ladies and gentlemen,
The hands on his club. And that's how we're getting out of here. The swords are slapping the stub. One is a giant sneer. Body is blocking the path. The killer we were stuck inside. We attack him. I stab him in the eye. But then time begins to fade. We're falling and afraid. But not to let them die in vain. For them, they'll carry on. Flames for those who gone. And lives will not die in vain. Who lets you?
with that, ladies and gentlemen, that means we need to go back to the
Who hurts you?
year of
Then we should run. who hurt you
happening this year. 'Cause
didn't please
I just think back to 2000.
nobody,
Nothing really.
nobody.
February 4th,
When he
2022
hurts
was the
you,
first
he
ever evidence
said.
of David Toto. As you can see on the Shelter's Instagram post right here, the caption reads, "A victim of economic violence cannot take care of her child. In her application to us, the mother wants to live with her child and not to receive treatment for her child. May God bless everyone in this difficult time." Now, pretty much what people are speculating is this was the first moment that, yes, Toto was brought to the shelter because the mother was very troubled in a place of where she really needed just help. So she came to this rehabilitation centre, which was for mothers, women, and children. And in this case, Toto, I guess, got brought to the shelter. And it seems, according to rumours, that Toto was adopted by the head of the shelter. In fact, in the interview that I mentioned earlier, it does kind of seem like they do confirm that they are now, I guess, guardian of Toto. And that really is only, I guess, simply confirmed in a post a month after what I showed you of where it's the same holding Toto with the caption, "My Toto and her hearts." And a lot of people have suggested that this woman has stolen Toto from the mother when it's absolutely not true. There are videos out there with Toto and the mother. Toto was definitely sent to this rehabilitation centre and she was in a bad condition, which we will get into further in this video.
Oh man, I am the infamous.
And obviously, when you get so many like fake stories and blurred lines, it really blurs the truth, and it could put possible victims in danger because it means that people will just drop the story and just see it as a bunch of lies. But the reality is there possibly is something bad going on here. But yeah, this is the origins of Toto, of where she was secretly taken in by this woman. And ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, I completely understand if you're thinking, Fraser, why is this the problem? Because it just seems right now that despite, if you put all the allegations of, everything aside for a second, it just kind of seems that a young child has actually found a good place in her life. Well, I would like to
You
say
saw.
that, but obviously,
You test.
because the moment Baby Toto started getting posted on their social media profiles, it seemed to change things. Their Instagram, their TikTok, it started getting views, it started getting popularity, and it seemed that a lot of people had
I'm
randomly
gone this way. No, this is this way. There's the line this way.
child-based content.
Only yours and I'll keep mine.
I'm saying, like, why does anyone care to really watch a kid? I get it, their kids can be adorable, but the fact that people just outright follow these accounts, I've never really understood it. And if you can give me some answers
You,
on why,
cause I was surprised.
I'd love to know
You're
why.
prideful and vain. Just like you. Nice.
She was getting more views than I've got on my channel in the last 2 years.
Man. Let's find you. I saw you as a friend. But now you're gone this way.
Just seem to be popular. Again, there is some obvious reasons that I just mentioned previously, but that kind of throws us back to
Line this way.
about Ellen. Now, this was a situation which was pretty much similar here. You have a mother who's looking all over TikTok, and all these videos there were views, but also school saves on the posts of
Told I'm looking for a friend. Look you for a general. A waste of effort spent. No matter what I'm fighting for, fighting to be known. You're so much wiser as your life spent so alone. You're alone.
or going to be criminals, creeps, or whatever you want to call them. But I do think that it is.
One day you'll hear what I'm saying. One day I'd understand. One day.
Somebody pretty much saying that they would kidnap Toto if they could. And there is a bunch of other weird stuff there. It is just very, very disturbing.
This way, the line this way. No matter this is my goodbye. Oh, this is my goodbye.
Existence, which to me, if you say something like that, you're just playing with your ignorance. Let's not pretend that there are creeps on the internet. There are definitely creeps, and they are definitely.
My goodbye. Oh, goodbye.
this for a child which literally doesn't even have sentient thoughts at this point. Like, you've really got to think about this, ladies and gentlemen. I think to be posted on social media to this extent, you've at least got to be able to speak a language. For example, in the Ren Elena video, I found that there were people claiming to put photos of Ren Elena's daughter all over their bedroom wall. We need to protect children by acknowledging the fact that there are troops on the internet. It's a very comfortable way of being like, oh, let's just not think about these things. But if you do that, you can play blissful ignorance, well, people are going to get harmed because then you are just enabling that behaviour by
Times.
people who ran this account and knew that Totu was popular. And the moment they started posting on it, Totu started to appear for videos and Instagram posts merely because the views were going up. It seemed different in comparison to when they posted a photo or video of a random kid from the shelter. Totu would just get
In the forest.
A lot of Americans started to find out about Totu, and this was because people in the West were like, oh, what a cute little image. It was because of the growing concerns from, I guess, the main ones after a lot of headlines started to resurface. The ones we've been going through today started going round, but also videos of Totu started to really gain traction. But in those videos, Totu seemed terrified. She didn't want to be in the She was in a bad condition, which we've been speaking about throughout this video. Of course, what's going on here.
Damage to survive.
Got to this point.
No.
That eventually the West with no idea about the shows, truly discovering about what's possibly going on here, and obviously it led to this online investigation which we've been going through throughout this entire video. People started to go insane and was so unbelievably concerned.
You can find what you have in mind.
And what's incredible about this is despite everything truth behind pretty much everything
I land in the sky, in the sky.
I'm now going to go through everything and just try and come to some sort of conclusion. What is actually going on there? Because at this point in time, I can understand if you're a little bit confused and you don't really know what's the truth and what is the truth. Because the problem is with TikTok people, everyone on that application is absolutely nuts. And as much as I say I hate the application, I do for a lot of reasons, but I also love it. But stuff like this just really makes me test the app. When you have a very serious and horrible story and probably some dark things going on, TikTok just takes that and makes it so unbearable. And not unbearable because I think these issues are scary or sad. Unbearable because it just blurs the lines of truth and reality of what is actually going on. And obviously, that is dangerous because that prevents real victims from getting justice. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the crime.
How dangerous the gods are. We've come this far. Long until your luck runs out. How much long until your luck goes out?
Allegations such as, well, these people in the shelter seemingly selling it's pretty much, that's what a lot of people say, and the allegations all come from, as I mentioned earlier, symbolism. And yes, this does bring us back to what we were speaking about earlier with things such as Balenciaga, but also not just that, because there were other symbols that people were getting worried about, upset about, especially when it came to baby tattoo. And I definitely should just say, guys, when it comes to symbolism videos, it's best to not brandise absolutely everything, because it will just take you down a pathway of just absolute mind-numbing madness. So please, for the love of God, do yourself a favour.
Now you lie on wit, people die on it. Whoa. Long, you know,
For example, there was a video posted on TikTok where they compiled a bunch of kids, I guess, from the shower, and they pointed out that all these videos, they were like photos of pandas, pandas kept appearing throughout the videos, and according to the caption, pandas pandas is a key word for, well, for this. And ladies and gentlemen, shock discovery. I think people may be showing their kids pandas because pandas are lovely and cute. Like, am I going to say right now? Because the conflation between pandas and they just don't seem like things that, well,
Hello. Yeah. You can speak to you in private.
stupid. It's just stupid. Kids that blooming love pandas, and that's why there are pandas in these videos. Not because they're sold. Jesus Christ. Not this. Because as I just said, stupid analyzations like this, and I don't even know analyzations is a real word. Stupid analysis like this makes us stop real victims from getting justice. Because there could be something very serious and dangerous and sinister going on here, but because you spread this bull, that allows these people who may be doing these bad things to point out that BS and use it as a way to deflect a real possible story that could be happening. But also, there could just be a complete line.
Think out of yours. I know if you know this. Their home is blocked by an impenetrable storm. Ask for your assistance. Ask command the distance.
Balenciaga in the shelter, and again, that means that they are. You know what that means? I don't even need to say it.
And turning, I'm in the fire enough to stay burning.
So silly, and I'm not
In
actually.
the wind.
Instead, I found a YouTuber from Azerbaijan called Salvatore Sinica. And in this video,
All I do is not open this bag. Too easy, what's the catch? Haha.
Everywhere in Balenciaga and then these international criminal masterminds is a story. And I don't think I should have to get somebody to explain it, but I'm going to get somebody to explain it.
This lady got her shirt from Balenciaga. But do you think she got this kitchen or Saturday? I think the latter sounds about right. For my Western, some people wear fake designer in Azerbaijan. Not everyone can afford it. I have fake designer. We all do. We all do it. It's completely normal. I've seen old ladies in Baku flaunt socks with Gucci and Chanel logos on the same foot. And do you guys honestly think people in Azerbaijan give up?
Open so they can have closure.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is
And always justifies the means. Things change simplicity, so it's close to the enemy's closer. As I stay wide awake, like no tidal wave. And ain't none opposed, the bag's still close, getting closer to you. Another way to make some new memories. I'm outcast. Maybe the father I never was. Your eyes closer, and the eyes that's torn in my whole heavy. The line relates you both. Won't you let me? I suppose it's changed, but I'm the same. I'm the same.
also in this video, they shed their opinion on the Azerbaijani media as well. And basically, this does kind of make things even more confusing to what they already are. Because in the video, they speak about how there is an issue in Azerbaijan media when it comes to, I guess, journalistic integrity. But I guess my problem with this would be, why would anybody lie about a shelter which is merely there to look after children? It just seems a bit confusing. Now, maybe that covers from like ignorance, maybe there is like some, I don't know, a sheltered level turf war thing going on, but either way, I don't think I can really go past these media headlines considering how many there are. So the amount of ones that are banned from Azerbaijan sources, not just the same sources, but multiple, there is no smoke around fire, and I just simply cannot go out and deny that something weird and horrible could be going on. And then the interview itself confuses me even further, because there are two interviews done with you've got the interview of somebody that works at the shelter who seems to be the guardian of Totu, and then you have the interview of the person that actually originally shed the light on this Totu shelter story in the Azerbaijan media. But when you take a look at the interview with the person that is the guardian of Totu, it's strange because Totu is actually in this interview and they seemingly are helping the Totu seems actually helping in this interview, and the person actually seems genuinely nice. And ladies and gentlemen, I know you could say, well, anybody can make a bit nice and anybody can make somebody else look nice. I get that, but you've got to remember these raids happened seemingly months ago now. Looking at the headlines here, and now it's what, 9 months later and Totu is still there. I think it could possibly come into what I was saying earlier about how these kids have come into this rehabilitation centre at a rough period in their life. They haven't got autism and they're not looking great, but they've come into it, and now, as you can see, it's cuts because it's blood, but I can see that this kid clearly seems much healthier. So maybe the rehabilitation centre is just, well, rehabilitating. And the weird thing is, when you look at their TikTok page, you can see in a lot of the comments, people in recent times start to notice that, yeah, Totu seems healthier, seems happier. And there was kind of like a theory, I guess, like going around the conversation that Totu is now with somebody else, but this is not the case. Totu is at the same shelter with the same people, but Totu is now appearing healthier, which only leads them to the feel that yes, they have actually been rehabilitated and things are very much better. Then this leads us into, well, why is this woman in this interview now the guardian of Totu? Because yes, this also brought in a lot of theories. Well, in this interview, they actually clarified. They said the reason that they are the guardian of Totu is because Totu was very sick when they came to the shelter and they had to go to Turkish doctors. But with this, they had to the guardian to sign certain papers so treatment could be given to Totu. The problem was that the mother of Totu was also very sick, and in some cases, the mother could not travel to other places like Turkey, so they needed to switch the guardianship with Totu, which is what this woman says in this interview. And to be honest with you, this makes a lot of sense. This adds up with pretty much everything here, because yes, this is a rehabilitation centre, but not just for children, but also kids as well. And then look, which is with the person that actually criticised the shelter originally, the person that in Azerbaijan alerted the media public about this possible situation. Even they are critical about this information, stating that some of the things said online aren't true, but they are still dead set that Totu is in a bad position. And they are so dead set that they're right, they say if they're wrong, sue. And also criticises the use of Totu billboards, and just in general says that she is upset that this child is sick and is now being used as some form of promotion. And firstly, I completely agree that using children to promote your brand, your TikTok page, just in general using sick children to get money is obviously a messed up thing to do. But also, as I said throughout this video, I'm something I strongly is against just in general having TikTok pages solely dedicated to children. I think that's ethically wrong and honestly not fair on a kid, considering that they can't even consent to it. I disagree fundamentally. But to be fair, I think the main argument for Shout, well, charities do this all the time. They take videos of kids in unfortunate positions in order to pretty much get people aware about the shelter, because if they didn't put more things and post on their TikTok, people would not know about the shelter and they wouldn't get any form of help. And the reason that these companies do it is because sometimes the charity just goes up to you and says, hey, give us free money because, you know, we need to help the people at our charity. If you don't show the people the true horrors of what's going on, they may not give you the money. But if you show somebody something terrible, they make them feel bad enough to give money. For example, if somebody knocked at your door and said, hey, we're raising money for injured dogs, you may not give money. Now, if you're a good person, you might give money. But somebody like me, I'm someone who needs to say something sometimes to truly feel bad. Actually, no, I don't know why I just said that, because literally the other day, somebody went up to me when I was walking down the street and was like, hey, you look at my charity, and I felt bad. You guys seem like a sweet dude. And I ended up donating money because I didn't know what charity was about, to be honest with you, but I just did. And I've been like paying a monthly subscription to Backseat Dogs because I had a lovely person come to my door and they were like, oh, you want to donate? And I crumbled on the Russia. So ignore what I just said. Instead, just apply to you, Cole. I need to go to Russia. And if they hold up the dogs, just dogs in condition, things, I'm probably going to be guilty of taking money, and I think that's what the whole, I guess, reasoning is behind it, according to the people who work at the shelter. But still, there are a lot of things which I don't think can really be explained whatsoever, and these things are definitely going to rule over our heads throughout this entire game. Firstly, why are there so many articles out there about this shelter saying the hideous and sinister and terrible things which they state? Why are those all around on the internet, and why have these things not really, in my opinion, probably been addressed? Because as much as there is an interview that run this TikTok account and everything, and run Baby Toto's social media presence, there hasn't. As I said, he spoke in the interview about the raid, but why would it even had to happen in the first place? Yes, there could have been false news going around being spread, but then there obviously is the case of, well, after the raid was taking place, as you can see from the media websites, it states that there were some terrible things found. So now, would this be a case of these kids already had these injuries when they came into the place? But surely these journalists wouldn't know that. If I put two and two together that quickly, surely a paid journalist. It's just very, very confusing. And yeah, maybe if it was just one media article suggesting these things, maybe I could say, oh, the journalist might have got something wrong. Maybe I missed something in translation. Maybe the story just isn't accurate, and maybe the reports aren't really true, and that's why they still have the kids. But then you realise that there were public interviews to do with the shelter. There was actual investigations seemingly done where these news companies went outside the shelter. They went around the place and investigated it. To me personally, it seems that there is far too much here to be listened to.
I think it agree it's important to me.
Stay you make
Putting myself up for
all the power, yeah, all the power.
the better and more well.
I'm on property, yeah. Look at the price, the value, for the stone, to give all the power, yeah.
I would love to outright deny these things and throughout this entire video, I feel like I've been pretty fair. Yes, we've been investigating it, but at the same time, I don't think we play into these absolutely wild theories. And the problem is in these interviews, they never even addressed why these things were said. Then one uses interview another music fund that I found, which honestly could just change absolutely every situation. Because whilst doing my research through media sources in Azerbaijan, I was trying to find more and more information when it came to the shelter. Because rather than searching things just related to Baby Toto is the, I guess, popular speaking language. Because to be honest, they don't really have any contribution other than they made this shelter popular. So I started watching other people who had stayed in the shelter, and I stumbled across another headline, which it's very, very concerning. The horrors of the shelter for children and women as presented by its former people. And in this article, it states that 15-year-old late to stay in the House of Love gives their experience of well-being, saying that they beat themselves up, and children's heads and set fire their hands after pouring alcohol all over them. They forced her to run through garbage. Apparently they were forced to wash their clothes, as if I guess the people that worked there, to bathe children. They were made to wash her clothes, clean all the floors, and basically some of the worst things that you can see. As you can see from this article, it's just an absolutely extremely disturbing read. It's all so unbelievable, just harrowing to look at. But again, I have to say, is this just a mere coincidence? Is this the media lying? I don't understand why they would. And at this point in time, we have multiple people speaking out against this shelter. We have videos out there of, as I said, yes, kids with bruises, and I know we came to some logical answer to them. But with this article, somebody is need to be speaking up against them. And yes, they spoke up against this information, but they still bad things were happening in the shelter. With raids happening, there is no smoke without fire. The things I'm saying right now are obviously more allegations, but with everything, it does just seem incredibly fishy and suspicious.
Maybe to the bone, all the ways to hunt ya, but they could run alone. Stop now, would you like to see?
Why all of these things still there? a sense, these people, despite their now major TikTok presence, haven't said anything about it. And I think the whole thing comes down to misinformation, because when you have a very legitimate, well, in this case, allegedly story seems to have legs, if you put one lie out there, it can completely destroy the entire thing, because that lie can be used as a shield to deflect from everything. So when people put it out there, they're insane stories, they're insane theories, it simply destroys so much credibility. But when there are actual real, or at least serious looking allegations out there like this, it gets all washed up away over the lines. Rather than hyper-analysing cannabis for weird stuff in symbols and somebody's TikTok, how about we actually address the things that have been actually alleged here? Rather than simply saying, oh, look at that camera, why don't we say, look at this 15-year-old girl saying, oh, these things, isn't this big concern? But I guess the question is the baby total story? The story is so incredible, there are so many lies spoken about it at this point, it's really hard to put it together. But honestly, given everything that I've just spoken about, given all the things that are available on the internet,
Sweet friend, who will may die.
stuff like that. And I know in this video I've seemed a little bit defensive, I've seemed to try to debunk absolutely everything. But with the allegations in this situation, ladies and gentlemen, these are some very serious things. Not just, oh, they might get cancelled, they might have to delete their account. These are criminal accusations. And if this was a shelter which genuinely was to be good and help people, I would not want to contribute to these allegations if they weren't possibly true. So I think approaching this with nuance and questioning is the best possible way to do that. Also, you do have to ask, why hasn't there been real genuine explanations to what was going on? They spoke about the raids in their interviews, but as I've said throughout this, they never really specified why those raids happened. It's not just like one day everybody gets a raid by the police. No, these are incredibly strange things that just happen out of nowhere. And also when you have people detailing their personal experiences, suspicion only gets further. It's all well and good saying these things are slander, but honestly, it is just seen at this point incredibly suspicious. And this TikTok account does make me feel uncomfortable. Even when you remove absolutely everything, you have to go back to everything that I mentioned towards the beginning of this video. There are weirdos and creeps in the comment sections of these videos, and I understand that it has to be for charity. But when you look at the video, most of the TikToks aren't exactly coming from a place of charity, and to me are clearly just like trying to get views. Look at the amount they capitalized on Toti becoming an internet sensation, and they even admitted in the past that they knew Toti was the one that would get views. So to me, even if there isn't a crime going on here, there's still something where I don't think it's right for a child to be posting this much on the internet. Social media account, which honestly, probably don't quite realise is a thing. But ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't end there, because it's time to discuss my final issue with this situation, and that is the handling of absolutely everything. Because yes, in regards to the situation, we've pretty much gone through all the main points, but there is a specific group of people on the internet that seemingly want these rumours, theories to actually be true. And if you're somebody who right now is against the shelter, that's completely fine. I myself also am in the standpoint of being against the shelter, but there are people who seemingly do not want people to criticise some theories. They don't want you to question things that don't exactly add up and make sense. And if you dare do that, they will go insane. They will go into comment sections, flood you with dislikes, attack you, or merely just asking questions, which is incredibly ironic because asking questions is how the situation began. Look at this comment right here, for example. Not only have they written this absolutely massive like this is one of the biggest comments I have ever seen, but it continues. Look at the replies, but they pretty much talks in the Bible, explaining why they're a bad person, pretty much, for just simply asking these questions. And the comment section this is in is Salvatore Sinclair, the music that I referenced a few times throughout this video, which is incredibly mad to me because in their videos they don't really go against the stand in the shower. They're more just impartial and neutral and just trying to be balanced to an incredibly serious situation. But obviously, TikTokers absolutely insane. There can't really be one. It's either one answer or nothing. Like there's no way of having something around it. This comment, it says, you are not a professional. You absolutely zero training at identifying child or identifying behaviors of children. You have zero training on how to do it possible. So I mean, it's just such a ridiculous thing. Because firstly, they don't know this person, but secondly, you don't need exactly to be an expert in the field to just simply ask questions. And this person in their video is clearly coming at it from a journalistic standpoint, and I actually think they did a great job at asking pretty much the questions that I would have also asked. So even if you're watching this right now and disagree with how they handled the interview, fair enough. I don't care if you've done. In this comment, they just keep on going even more insane. You continue to shame someone who is advocating for a child that's possibly being abused. What gives you the right to go on social media, multiple platforms, and make affirmative statements that this woman is believing they were these claims? I mean, she didn't actually do that in the video. If anything, in her first video, she actually brings up the headlines that I mentioned throughout this video. All we're trying to do is get a story out there and help bring further clarification to it. What gives you the right to sit there and affirm that everything is actually true? I really don't understand why people in any sense would make this argument, because we literally just flip it on to you. Right now we have a situation where there aren't many facts and most things come from speculation. And yes, in the big and scheme of things, it looks bad towards the shelter, but just shitting on somebody for asking questions is absolutely ridiculous. But it only continues with other comments. You are now on the shelter's side. How God is watching you, and it's like, mate, what are you talking about? I seriously don't understand why people on TikTok can't simply just be a little bit nuanced. So I've been using the word nuanced a lot with my recent videos, and it's mainly because I feel like society at the moment is just gradually losing the sense of that word. Because right now, looking at this comment section, I'm truly blown away about how people are handling the situation. And as I said earlier, this honestly only impacts victims negatively. Because if you are going to take every theory and be like, it's true, and the only person denying it is the people who are being accused of it, take actual lies and use it to deflect from the truth, which is the main thing of today's video. Because whilst I do have a confusing answer to it, I can say that spreading lies and insane theories is only going to be negative things. And there were also people saying things such as, why does Toto look terrified? Why was she, I guess, sick and injured? But that's already been answered. I've been complaining throughout this video where things haven't been answered, but you could just do a little bit of research to discover that Toto is sick when she came into the orphanage. She was found when she does things. So obviously she was going to be sick, and it doesn't take much research to literally go on TikTok and do a few searches and find anyone birth evidence, but pretty much just slating the father of Toto, because Toto's father is a bad dad, pretty much. He left Toto in a bad position, and this is coming from that moment as well.
So our cellular transformation basically means we got missing, but then we are making so why was she missing? Because the mom is pregnant, and so is the dad.
To be honest, that's why I'm always on it. It's just overflowing to special this set is so lovely. I don't know what I'm saying, but it's the down skirt and this dress.
Oh, passes goes behind. Nothing from that night. Feeling of
The father. I asked Mister, why is she saying that? And she said it's because the kid has a father who was again mentioned, and the kid was usually found in the trash bins. And the woman interrupts her again by saying, I'm going to report the dad. The dad is the reason why this kid is in the situation that it is today. The kid obviously later on in the video says that I've already reported him, and she was like, no, I'm going to report him as well.
And ladies and gentlemen, that did not take much time to find, and no, it doesn't exonerate the shelter from everything discussed in this video, but as I will keep on saying, I think the best way to handle a situation is by going the most truthful possible, and it's clear that when it's put to the situation, it has death.
Waiting, last that I see you. Waiting,
As I said, I believe
too
shelter
long.
the situation right now, and maybe they can rectify that, but they need to provide further information. Despite my criticism of the situation, allegations out there. Yes, the investigation is probably still ongoing, but given the fact that there are testimonies out there about the experiences in the shelter, themselves and so many 6 months of to
Close behind, pass it along close behind, down in the underworld.
these interviews and not really explain where these allegations came from and how they ended up in these articles, to me is just incredibly fishy, and of course that will always bring me back to TikTok.
I am the prophet.
Knowing that with all of this, there is an account out there coming up to 200,000 followers, an account which seemingly is taking money via donations and their live streams. I don't feel comfortable knowing everything, knowing these things.
God, I'll help you get home. That's not what I know. See a song of past romance. See the sacrifice of man. See the trails of betrayal and a brother understand. See you on the brink of death. See you try and find a breath. See a man who gets to make it home alive. It's no longer me. But in red is intimate. Who has long believed your text? I see your life. A man who is haunting the trail of bodies. See long of Swiss romance. See the sacrifice of man. See portrayal of betrayal and a mother's final stand. See you on the brink of death. Destroy your final breath. The man who gets to make it home alive. It's no longer you.
Go watch one of the videos on there and comment something like these if you really do want to support me, because it genuinely means more than you know. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Thanks for the wrong. Peace out, everybody.
Everything in broadcast us. Offering the no endless. I want to reunite with my strength. I need to change.
Liberty music. Customize
Those lost. I'll be right back after these restroom. I have to evade him. If I get home, so I take you must go. He will chase you high and low. The place he never go.
Because you have to get actual real listening, actual people, and kind of connected the dots between these two and basically said, oh yes, this person is this person because they kind of look the same. And it's like, guys, not everyone blonde hair is the same human being. I know that might be a controversial statement, but the horror movies, they're not real, guys, because this situation, I need to inform you, isn't real. This may be real theories, but these theories obviously are false. They are fabricated. And today, we are going to go through this conspiracy theory of Bebop and Baby and uncover what's actually going on.
In time
So, just because these
to
theories are
you.
doesn't mean there isn't some suspicious things going on in this situation involving irregular accusations to the channels of exploitation of children. Because whilst these theories aren't real, there's obviously been the conversation of should this young child be classed on the internet? Because yes, she is a young child. Personally, when it comes to family channels, I've always been switched off from them because naturally, when your focal point to get at is your own child, that could possibly lead to something like exploitation. Now, not necessarily every case, but obviously, when you're doing this as your job, the primary objective is always going to be views because it helps pay the bills. And when your child is the focus point of that, when the child is basically the selling point of the channel, that could obviously lead to the parents being doing, and in this case, this is
My child was like, nope.
outside of these crazy theories is that Bebe is not the child Bebop basically making these really weird TikToks because I'm not gonna lie, these TikToks are weird because now just like and yeah, it is weird. I don't really know why consuming this content. I'm not saying it's weird, but I'm just kind of wondering who this is kind of catered to. But alas, it has amassed sort of around 4.6 million followers. So clearly it's for somebody, and clearly the mother in this situation is most likely getting paid. So honestly, this is pretty much where these wild theories begin, because obviously when it comes to the allegations of exploitation of children, that's naturally going to be attention. Theorising what's going on here, and that's naturally laid down parts. So before we get into that, I do just want to go down that original path first to kind of explore how we got to these wild theories, because honestly, it does all add up. But before we do that, I want to just say, I don't want to say I'm one of that, I am going to speculate. Please do me a massive favour and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Because if you don't subscribe to the YouTube channel, then I'm going to kidnap you. YouTube as a joke, just please subscribe to the channel. I just want subscribers, 50% plus. I know you. So where we start off is the alleged exploitation of this child. A lot of people are pretty much uncomfortable with the fact that this young child seeming to wear inappropriate clothing for a child. There are videos of the child on a leash, and people really weren't happy with that. And also because the child seemingly has a lot of makeup in the video, which a lot of people in the comments are taking as extremely inappropriate. And this is basically resulted in a lot of people getting upset. And as I said, well, personally, I'm always going to have an issue with family channels in general because I don't think business venture. Child should be the big drives of profits because they got their money pass. So naturally, I am always going to be critical of these channels, despite the criticism out there. And I think in this situation, criticism is valid, given the fact that Bebop is apparently a pageant. And this might be very controversial to say, but honestly, it's with Americans and pageant girls. I don't know if this is something that goes on in Europe, and I'm making myself look like a complete up right now. I swear that this is this really weird common thing of when Americans make these young kids dress up and go for the pageants. It's such a weird thing to do with children. And I'm not saying anything sinister going on there, but what I'm saying is it's a bit weird to dress up kids and put them on a thing where a bunch of people rank their beauty or something. It's just weird. And I've always honestly seen these things as a form of child exploitation. I've always seen it as like a parent trying to basically get money and make off their child, and I honestly never go to be convinced. So yeah, this was basically just another case of a TikTok mom pretty much just being accused of using their child to get music clicks on the internet, and there is even more evidence to kind of suggest that based on the brother that I previously mentioned, Peter, who seemingly had lots of DMs come out in the last few months of where it showed that the mother has apparently forced the TikTok DMs, which actually resulted in an which has now been absolutely purged from the internet, alongside with painful social media has also been purged. It's very weird. The emoji video was very, I guess, forced and just in general, very, in my opinion, disturbing.
What did you like about it? Say it. Were you ever forced? Were you ever threatened?
No.
Was there any consequences to not doing a video?
No.
Did you like it at the end, these things?
And I will kind of explain that situation more in full, but I just needed to kind of bring that in there to show that yes, there have been severe allegations of exploitation when it comes to the TikTok profile that TikTok posted on there, with the fact that this is a pageant girl, and also with the fact that the brother seemingly was kind of made to apologize and saying that forced him to make TikToks. And yeah, these TikToks in general, they are a little bit strange, with a lot of people calling out content like this.
In one of the TikToks, she seems to be dressed up and wearing a slightly shade of darker makeup. In one TikTok, she's wearing dreads where its intended purpose seems to be offensive. Pay attention to the lyrics of the song. Saying it's the way she's playing as a black girl with this sound. I'm not mad at the child, I'm mad at the mom. There's multiple other TikToks like this where the mother has the daughter participating in these types of things. And one she's dressed up as an Asian doing nails.
I do for you. Long later. Alright, fine. I'll have long nails. Thanks. It's okay, honey. Only $4 one. That's okay.
You see comments like the daughter doesn't even know what she's doing and racially motivated.
Look, man, I'm not trying to cancel a 6-year-old girl. No, I'm not going to cancel a 6-year-old girl, because obviously this child probably has no idea what her mother is making her do. Because, I mean, whether you want to say the mother's malicious or not, she is making her do these things. You know, she's saying, do this, put this outfit, say these things, and all for them, but on TikTok. I do not believe a 6-year-old girl is sensitive enough to have this level of production, have the clothing, the outfits, and everything. I think this is very much a mother thing here. And yeah, I just think this is another case in point of a mother who's desperately trying to use their child for fame. And that really does only get amplified when you go back to the whole thing of this child being placed in pageants by their parents. And after that, she's now plastering that same child on TikTok. It's a worrying trend that that trend has actually led to a lot of allegations of actual rapes, which of course finally leads us into these allegations, these severe, insane mental allegations of people. Now, I'm not saying you're mental for kind of violent things, because to be honest with you, when I first saw them, I did think it was suspicious, but ultimately, I think it's mental to see how I've kind of perpetuated these violence and made them even worse based on information which is just so easy to discover. And I think a lot of content creators did not do their due diligence of just picking this information up and working out that a lot of this is bullshit.
People think this TikToker was kidnapped, and there's a lot of proof that it might be true. So everyone has thought there's something off about this account for a while now. Some reasons for that is her bedroom looking like a set, and because she wears a lot of makeup for her age in a lot of her videos, and a lot of other things that I don't have time to get into.
You didn't have the time to go over this in your TikTok to do with serious allegations, and may I just say, this TikTok has 1.2 million likes. I think if you're creating a viral TikTok about the viral topic that you know is going to garner a lot of attention, you should probably take the time to cover all of the information and facts in the situation. And if you don't believe that you can take the time to do that, then hey, buddy, that sounds really condescending, but I'm just saying, just don't. If you genuinely can't go through everything, maybe just don't, because there has been a lot of dangerous things that have come out of this situation. And I'm not necessarily saying that this guy is at fault for all of that, but these TikToks really don't help, given how viral they are, given how much misinformation they very much push. Now, I'm not saying that he directly said that this person was kidnapped, but ultimately, these TikToks very much do endorse these rumors. And on TikTok, a lot of people are right now. A lot of people are just going to eat up what they need to
TikTokers have found this missing girl and they think this might be the girl in the videos. Basically, they think that she might be wearing the makeup to conceal her identity, and they think that might be why she looks forced to be in all of her videos. Also, in some of her earlier videos, this boy was shown. Now, he was introduced as her brother, and people think that he's actually this missing boy. Now, if you look at the article, the boy went missing in Georgia, and if you look at this video from the girl's account, she's in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, there are also a lot of other odd things like her shaking on live streams and stuff like that. But what do you guys think of this?
Okay, let's start off with this missing girl story, because this has already been disproven, and I am going to have to learn why I'm on here. But people found photos of the brother and the mom together in 2017 of what was believed to be the mother's Facebook profile, and the missing girl in the headline, Aranza Lopez, has been missing since 2018. And I can't lie, the two girls that I really look missing. This took me around 3 minutes to discover, and it's just like, surely you can just do your research before you perpetuate this information to millions of people. And yeah, I know he didn't directly say these things explicitly, but ultimately, he put this information out there without really denying all of it, without just doing research, because it honestly wasn't that difficult. Even if the information wasn't as easy to find in the first place, maybe deleting TikTok, given the fact that this is spreading information about actual missing people, which I just feel awful about, given the fact that there are real families affected by information, and these people are just being used as a way to get views on TikTok. So people are basically spreading this theory based on the fact that, what, the room looks a bit weird, she wears makeup and kind of looks like somebody, and also she's shook a few times on the street. And look, personally, I was going to say that, yeah, I'd love for this story to be real, but obviously I wouldn't. Obviously I don't want a kid to be forced into making TikToks. I don't think anybody should even willingly make TikToks, because that application is god awful. But what I think is happening here isn't exactly the deepest of things. But it considered exploitation to an extent of where a mother was making a child with a bunch of TikToks who was trying to use it to get money to pay the bills. Yes, I think it's probably just a case of that. I think what we have here is a kid who doesn't appreciate being forced in front of a camera 24/7, but this mother wants to pay the bills. And I'm not trying to defend justified family channels here, but what I think you have with the bedroom, yeah, it could actually be a set, but I don't think that's for these weird, sinister reasons. I don't think that they're being chained to the walls of the set who be spoken to when they need to record a TikTok every day. I don't think it's that. I think it's more of that. Another YouTuber brought this up to me in a video about the situation where they said the reason they probably haven't or shared as a set is for a tax write-off. Because when you're filing your taxes, my friend, a little bit of business advice right now, when you're filing your taxes, you can actually business expense a section called mortgage or rent if you are using a specific feature in your house or, I don't know, place you live in as a business-related area. So, for example, if I got a 5-bedroom house, but one of those bedrooms was being used as an office, I could business expense that office or the rent. I know it sounds way overcomplicated, but basically, what I'm trying to say is that they probably have an extra role for a set, because if a larger house having to save a little bit of money, which I don't really think it's anything sinister. If you think that's sinister, then my friends, if you're a student, I'm sorry, I should have laughed, but I understand that there are a lot of genuinely concerned people, but it is just a bit fucking mental. Honestly, it's probably not even that. Honestly,
This is what I'm going to stream for the night. Thank you all for watching. See you all next stream. Bye bye.